Welcome to the Healing Connection Podcast. This is where your mind, body, and soul can connect. Healing isn't the same for everyone, but what is the same is we all deserve to heal from our past traumas, medical conditions, and even our broken hearts. In this podcast, you will hear from other healers that healed themselves and now are healing others. Let this be the place where you come to heal, grow, laugh, and learn. This is the Healing Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Stacy Christine. Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to the first episode of the Healing Connection Podcast. I'm your girl, Coach Stacy Christine. This podcast has been a total passion project made from love. I have been sharing my story on social media for a few years now, and I realize that sharing is healing for me. But also I realize I'm helping other women when I do share. So my intention with this podcast is to let the listeners know that they are not alone in their healing journey. I'm currently a self-healing coach. I teach women how to heal from their past traumas and live the abundant life that they deserve, because you deserve to have it all, sis. Everything, the dream home, dream car, dream family, dream business, career, and overall dream life. The quote that changed my life when I started my healing journey in 2016 was, "Abundance is your birthright." Since hearing that quote, I've been on the pursuit of living abundantly in all areas of my life. I definitely have not been doing this on my own, though. I've hired many coaches, mentors, healers, hypnotists, a therapist, a medium, an astrologer, and even a subconscious mind tapper. Yes, I didn't even know that was possible myself. So here on this podcast, I'm going to be sharing more of my journey of healing, but also I will have incredible stories from other healers as well. Soon you will be hearing from hypnotists, energy workers, astrologers, relationship coaches, love healers. I have so many amazing women coming on here to share their story. I'm healing from past traumas such as domestic violence, infidelity, car accidents, and surviving an alcoholic mother. Your life is a healing journey in itself. You may never fully get over some of the things you've experienced, but I do know that there is more. When you heal, more of your gifts will be revealed. If you don't heal, you stay stuck, stagnant, depressed, and very dependent on others. I definitely had to learn all of this the hard way. I'll be sharing more of that later. But today I have a special guest. She is the definition of, if she can do it, I can do it too. I first met Chelsea at the end of 2020. We took a course together and I saw she was having success on Clubhouse. So I went over to see what the fuss was about, and Chelsea was kind enough to let me speak in her rooms. I eventually was able to create rooms with her, but I also built a friendship with her. And because of her, I was able to launch my first course, online course in 2021. She also helped me open an agency where I was helping individuals create ebooks and courses. And now I invested into her Pennies to Gold course, and she has helped me create my own dropshipping store. And so tonight, as I'm launching my podcast, I'm also launching my first dropshipping store called Because Healing Works. So please go check out our latest collection called Abundance. And to check that out, you can go to becausehealingworks.com. Let's get to this episode. Chelsea Guarriello is a 7-figure mompreneur. She survived domestic violence and poverty in just a few short years. She is someone I look up to and consider a friend. Her interview gets very deep, so grab your tissues. But it's very real, and I know her story needs to be heard. I know that Chelsea's story can be someone else's survival guide. So please enjoy. Don't forget to go follow her on Instagram at LearnWithChelsea. And she said that she has a special gift for anybody if you guys keep on listening to the end. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Healing Connection podcast. I have such a special guest on the line today. She has been somebody who has motivated the crap out of me since I met her. And it's really only been a short period of time, but her influence is so powerful. So I'm so grateful that she is here today. So everybody, I would love to introduce to you Chelsea, aka Honey Gold. Welcome, Chelsea. Thank you for being
Hi.
here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so special. It's your first podcast. I'm so excited for you, girl. This has been a long time coming, but I'm really excited to be on your platform. Thank you for sharing it with me, asking me to be a guest. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I know how busy you are, so I appreciate you carving out some time for me. I greatly appreciate it. I'm so excited to hear more. I've heard your story. I'll be on all your lives. I was trying to catch your Zooms, whatever you was doing, and I try to be everywhere just to listen because your energy is contagious. Your energy is so contagious and so powerful. So I've heard your story a million times, but I need the audience to know exactly what you've gone through. But first, let them know who you are, where you're from, what you do, and we'll get into your story.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So my name is Chelsea. I go by Honey Gold on social media, and I am a mother of two. I'm a fiance, and I'm a mompreneur. I was born in the Bronx. I wasn't born in the Bronx. I was raised in the Bronx. I was born in Manhattan, but yeah, I'm from New York. I grew up in a single family, single mother household. I've lived in a lot of places because if you are from New York, depending on what part you're from, that when you start to have children, when you start to raise a family, you want to provide them with the safest lifestyle possible. And so we relocated from New York when I was 11 years old, 10, 11 years old, and we relocated to Florida, where I went to middle school, high school, and college. The day after I graduated from college, I moved to Atlanta, and I loved Atlanta. I was there for, I think, like 7 years, and I started my life there. That's where I realized very quickly once I graduated, I walked across the stage, and about a week before I walked across the stage, I realized that I had went to school for something that I had no intention on using at all. I graduated with a degree in criminal justice and psychology, and by the time I actually got my degree, I just was no longer in that headspace anymore. I no longer wanted to be fighting bad guys and kicking down doors and stuff. So for me, I was just like on a search for what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And that kind of sent me down a long rabbit hole of opportunities, some really good, others not so much. Being a woman, a single young lady in Atlanta, that was my first time on my own outside of a college environment. So I was on my own for a long time in college. I moved away, like away from family and things, but I was in a college town. I graduated from Florida State University. I was very independent, but still amongst peers, young people. So Atlanta was my first time really with the big girls, the big boys. And I was just hit with a whole lot of different opportunities. Like I said, some good, some bad, some legal, some illegal. And I was just a sponge, open and willing to tap into anything that could allow me to sustain myself without being a burden to my family and just becoming this independent woman that I knew I needed to become. My family was all like, wait, what are you doing? Your degree, you just graduated, like now you're moving to Atlanta, you don't know anybody there, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just doing me, I'm good, like I'm gonna figure it out, I'm always gonna work. And so that was that. I realized after graduating that if I wanted to really become successful, the lane that I had graduated, the degrees I had gotten, were not going to actually set me up for the type of success that I was envisioning. And I felt really foolish and silly because I hadn't done that research prior. I did the research literally like a week before graduating because as a young college student, money was not really my motive. Like I was in school to be in school to get a degree. And so it wasn't until that week before graduation that I realized, oh, I'm gonna have some bills to pay pretty soon. Like, this is not all about the passion. This is not just all about what is a cool career to get into. This has to be something with longevity that's gonna allow me to live a certain type of lifestyle. And I don't know why I chose this career. So that's really what triggered me trying to just figure out something else. And that led me into a lot of positions with sales. which I'm so grateful for, because I'm glad that from an early age, I learned that like certain things you just can't be emotional about. And I could have been like, no, I spent all this money, all this time in school. My mom, everybody's gonna be upset if I switch career paths now. And I could have spent like another few years probably acting like I was in that field or wanted to be. I could have gotten jobs in that field and been miserable. So I'm glad that very early on, I put my foot down. Look, yes, I got my degree, mom. You're happy, proud of me, cool. But no, I do not want to go that route. I'm going to go the money route because I want to be an independent woman and I don't want to have to burden you guys, bother you guys. Let me figure it out how I figured out. And so I worked at restaurants. I was a server. I know that's not sales. The sales came later, but I did everything I could do to make the most amount of money. Things with no ceiling. When I felt like if I could work at a restaurant, I could work multiple shifts, I could be as nice as I want to be so that I could get as great of tips as I want to get. And that allowed me to really, for the first time, make some like decent, real good money. And that kind of just set the path for my young adulthood living in Atlanta. Things were pretty good until, when was it? I was in a relationship after a couple years of being in Atlanta. I ended up getting into an amazing relationship with an overseas basketball player. And we were together for almost 3 years. And that kept me very grounded, very safe because he was long distance. So I was that girl going to and from work, you know what I'm saying? Like not partying, nothing, because I had a man. So it kept me very grounded, kept me very safe. And life was simple for me. I was just being responsible, trying to start my life as an adult. And 2 years into that relationship, we were getting to the point where it was like, okay, this was our deadline, 2 years of long distance. And so now what? Are we going to get married? Are we going to live in the same country? Because that was always the plan. And when he started to get cold feet about that, I picked up on it and it freaked me out completely because I'm like, I've just given you almost 2 years of I've given you almost 3 years of my life. This was the plan from the beginning. And now you're second guessing it. Our relationship is great. So what's going on? And he just didn't have the answers. It was scary for him. And so I think in those moments, like something happened in me where I just realized like, whoa, this is uncertain now and it's unstable now. And it created a void for me that I didn't even know was there. But now every conversation was just like, am I coming? Am I moving? Is this actually real? Is this happening? And so the more those thoughts festered in, the more vulnerable I became and the more, like not confident I was in my relationship. And so I just continued and buried myself into work and just the motions. And someone came into my life at the same period that was completely opposite of anything that you would want in your life, to be honest, even as a friend. Super cool, fun person, somebody that like you maybe want to be around, but when you get to know that person, you're like, damn, like I probably shouldn't be around that person. And because I think of my vulnerability in that void, because I was in love with someone who seemed to be uncertain about where we were headed, I think that I had let my guard down quicker than I normally would have with this new person. And this new person came into my life in a very tragic, unexpected way. And just being like the nurturing, loving person that I am, I really think that like, I feel like God put him in my life because he knew I needed me to help him through a really crazy time. But I don't know why, because God also knows that like I have such a big heart and it wouldn't have been just like, let me help him heal and then I'll move on to my next person I can help heal. I got completely addicted to that process. And so here I was, I wouldn't even say falling in love because I definitely wasn't falling in love. I think I was just filling a void with someone who I knew I had no space for in my life. I wasn't attracted to him. I wasn't interested. He had just come home from prison a few months previously for things that weren't just like little slap on the wrist things. It was character things, like things that really like second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth offense type things. Like you're just not someone who should be in someone like my life at the time. And yeah, like we met. And we met through a mutual friend during a taco night, a random taco night at my house. I had some friends over, we were hanging out, and my best friend's dude that she was dating at the time invited his cousin over for taco, just to all kick it, play games. And that night ended a week later, literally 7 days from that taco night, the night that I met both of them I met the cousin for the first time, I get a call while at work one day, while my best friend is downstairs waiting to pick me up, the girl that was at taco night with me, my sister, my best friend, waiting downstairs in my car. I used to give her the car for the day while I go to work, and she's waiting for me in the parking lot to pick me up. And I get a phone call as I'm like getting ready to clock out from another friend of mine saying, "Hey, Chelsea, are you watching the news? Have you seen the news?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And she's, "Okay, are you sitting down?" I'm like, "I'm at work, girl. What's up?" And she's, "Your friends that you were having taco, you were just with them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what?" And they got shot and he died. And I'm like, "Wait, what? What?" So in a matter of seconds, I'm looking out I'm in a high rise. Like I was a mortgage broker. I'm in this beautiful office building in Atlanta. And I'm looking down at my car and my best friend in it. And I'm just like, oh my God, I have to tell her the worst news ever. And I know she doesn't know because she's right here. So I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So we go downstairs. I tell her literally our whole lives, just hot mess. And so we realized that the other person who got shot and lived was his cousin, which was at my house that day. And so naturally, both her and I are like, we have to find him. He was cool. He had just come home. Like we knew he was going to be fucked up over this. And so we just wanted to be there for him. And so in those moments, going to see him in the hospital, like being that one person that he had, it totally allowed for that vulnerability to like really sink in. And we ended up spending so much time together. He had bullet wounds. Like I cared for him. Like I just wanted to help him. Didn't like him, wasn't attracted, nothing. But that situation definitely grew and led to me being, what's the word? Infidelity? No, what's the word? Like unfaithful, completely unfaithful to my relationship. And it was such a hard thing because I had never been unfaithful in my life before. And that goes completely against my morals, against everything like I believe in. I used to really not even tolerate the idea of that. I'd be like, oh, like girls, I would look at them as, you're that type of girl. Like I was so proud to be such a faithful woman. So this completely knocked me out of my element. And yeah. So for a minute, I was living like a completely double life. My boyfriend at the time lived overseas. We had a 7-hour time delay difference. So that gave me so much opportunity to get to know this person without even trying to get to know him, just spend time with him to help him. And like I said, one thing led to another, and now we're crossing boundaries. And so in that, I think that he knew that I had this deep, dark secret that was so ugly that he knew I was like so buried so deep in. And I think that he just like really went hard with it. Like he knew, okay, she's vulnerable, she's broken, she's having a huge secret, she's so torn because I know this isn't her, she knows this isn't her, but only we know what's going on. And so I feel like he knew I was like his prisoner after a while, because at any time he could expose everything and completely ruin my life, or at least the path that I thought I was on to marrying someone who I really was in love with. And so I knew that the things that I was doing were coming from a place of just hurt and sadness and like longing for something. I knew I didn't want to be with this person. I knew he wasn't for me. And I think he knew it too. And I think after a while, that's why the abuse came into the picture, because it was just, I don't know, it just got crazy, girl. It just got so crazy. So long story short, I ended up doing the right thing and leaving my relationship. But by then I was already so involved and so attached to this new person who literally I felt needed me. Like whenever we weren't together, he was in trouble. Like something bad would happen. He was like literally like my son who just turned into someone who I really just cared for. And it was just the most toxic, disturbing and horrible situation I could ever explain, ever. But he was now dealing with things that he couldn't even explain within himself. His cousin had just gotten shot in front of him. He's running, dodging bullets literally, and then takes a bullet trying to protect his little brother. You know what I mean? So I'm not to excuse it or anything. It's just, I was really dealing with someone who I had no preparation to deal with. Like I was not prepared to deal with someone who was going through so many horrible, crazy things. And I inserted myself in something that was way bigger than me. And because of that, a lot of demons were exposed from his side. A lot of things came to the surface that I was just there to receive. And I didn't have any choice but to receive it. And so there became a time where it was just such a consistent abuse that it was just like, it became normal almost. Like I expected it. And it was like to the point where I counted and it would be every 4 days max, like no more than 4 days would go by before a physical altercation would take place. And for a while, I'm just like justifying it, dealing with this and that, and like he lost this and that, all these things. And then it just got worse and worse. It wasn't just a one-time thing like he swore it would be. It became an ongoing thing. And girl, the first time he ever hit me, it's just the craziest thing ever. It was over Brandon, my fiance right now, girl. Yes, him reading a text message to him about a very casual conversation, but I was like, no, don't gamble with him. Don't bet him. Brandon, they both are the same when it comes to that. And they had gotten word that each other does that. And so Brandon's, hey, hook me up with your man. Like, let me play him in some 2K. And I wrote back and I'm like, no, do not gamble him. He has no money. He owes me thousands of dollars, Brandon. Fall back. Do not try to play with him because I'm already in the hole because of him. Girl, he saw that message and slapped the dog shit out of me. And it's just the most ironic thing that it was a conversation with my fiance now, but that just escalated and turned into something that I dealt with for 2 years. And yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. Literally, I didn't even recognize the person in the mirror anymore at all. Like I would just look into the mirror and bawl and cry and just like depressed in a different type of way because I had never really experienced any of those feelings before. So just having to live such a lie and hurt someone that I knew I loved and then feel trapped and then tormented, literally tormented, like things that you would not even believe, like crazy shit. And yeah, I've just been spending the last years of my life just healing from all of that. And I think for me, the hardest part is just accepting that I allowed it because I was that girl. I wish a nigga would like, what? I was that one. And then when it happened, it's just like, that was not my attitude at all. And it makes me be like, girl, what? Like you knew better. It's not like, I don't need all the pep talks with like, girl, but you don't ever deserve a man to hit you. No shit. Obviously, you know that, but nobody teaches you how to handle it when it's someone that you've grown to love. Because at that point, it's like your heart pain hurts more than the physical pain. The thought of them not being with you anymore, to love you anymore, to need you anymore, almost hurts worse than the little physical pain that you're going through. And so it's the abuse and mental abuse that goes along with the physical that really tears you down and starts to make you believe that this is acceptable. So
I call it devil dick. Like we feel as though we can change somebody. We can change somebody because they went through something and I'm here to help them. But really for us women to excel, to move, to be abundant, we need somebody that is on the same level as us, somebody that's not going to hit us. As Oprah says, if he's going to hit you once, he'll hit you again. If they treat a dog, their grandmother, their mother, their friends bad, initially they're going to end up treating you bad as well. So you really got to watch the people that you put around. But another thing to pretty much agree with you on what you were saying was we also get addicted to suffering. The human condition is actually addicted to suffering. And so after a while, if we keep on you can get physically beat on, you can get verbally beat on, your mind starts to believe the shit that they're saying. And it puts so much doubt and so much unconfidence. It takes the confidence away from you that you're now stuck with this abuse. And one thing that I learned not too long ago, I actually learned it years ago, but I like to share it all the time, is when you're in love, it's the same exact feelings, chemical brain exposure, dopamine that comes when you are being abused. And so that's how you can get addicted to being in love, and you can be addicted to being suffering. And as you say, it was just hard to get out of it. You knew that you didn't deserve that. You knew that you did not belong to have any of that. But there's men out there that will literally trap you. They will trap you when they know that you're ready to leave. And I think you had a story like that where you did get, and then not too long after you got the trap, if you want to go into that story, you can, but that's when you finally made a decision to completely leave. Right?
Oh yeah, that was like so long. Like I had dealt with so many things like that. I should have left so much sooner than I did. What finally broke it for me, sadly, wasn't the physical abuse. It was him violating me financially. Because for me, that's all I had. Like, for me, it's, you've already taken my dignity. You've already stripped me from everything. Let me work. This is what I'm here to do. Let me provide for myself and take care of myself. So it wasn't until he like put my job at risk. I didn't even think it was a possibility that like that was for me the biggest thing. Like, my job, when I had moved to Atlanta and finally got the job that I had wanted as a makeup artist, that was at MAC. That was something I've been working towards since I was 16 years old. And me being financially secure is what allowed me to be able to relocate after college, relocate in college. I just always knew, like, I grew up in a single parent home, like, money is everything. Like, money is what made anything possible. And the thought of being without it, even to this day, like, I have a really unhealthy relationship with money because of, I don't even know why, but just because of the fear of not having it from day one. I think that was the biggest problem, is that from day one, I was trying to help him, and that required financial resources. And so from day one, as friends, before anything, I was already financially invested, and I need that money back. Like, from jump, we always knew that it was not a loan. It wasn't I'm giving this to you. I didn't even know you like that. It was, okay, like, you're shot, I'll help you. And so a couple $100s here and there turned into thousands of dollars. And this is someone who's on her own, paying her own bills. And so I'm thinking that this is someone who I saw with money. The person, his cousin who died, had money. So I'm just not knowing. I'm being very naive. Next thing you know, it's weeks are passing. I'm not getting any money back. Weeks and weeks are passing, no money back. And I realized, like, in hindsight, that he was using that money to keep me there. And so for 2 years, I was there thinking that I'm being paid back. It's the craziest story, but that's what kept me there all 2 years. Like, I eventually loved him, everything. Like, we grew into this relationship. In my mind, I just wanted to be paid back. I didn't even realize how much time was passing. I didn't even realize how close we were growing together. In my mind, it was just like, this kid was such a fuck up. At every turn, every corner, it's like another debt I'm coming out of pocket, adding to your expenses. And next thing, it's like, he'll pay me back a little bit here, there. Now we're down to $1,000, and then boom, him and his friends will get into some bullshit. The car will get whatever, and now it's another 400, 5. Now we're back up. So it's, I can't just leave you because I need that money. And I just, in hindsight, yes, it's so silly and it's sick and so sad, but like, I was working restaurant tables, or fine, makeup at this point, but still $4,000.
Part of healing is recognizing when something no longer serves you. Ladies, when your boo has devil dick and it's hard to move on and find your soulmate. What is devil dick, you say? It's when a man uses his penis to keep you in some sort of way. On February 13th, right on time for Valentine's Day, I'm doing a live masterclass on recognizing devil dick. It's important to know the traits of an abusive man, and this masterclass is going to reveal all the red flags so that you can go on 2022 loving yourself more and attracting the man of your dreams. You may not need this class, but your bestie does. This is why the class is buy one, get one free. Go to healabillion.as.me to book your seat now. Your bestie will thank you later.
Like, I haven't been in the position that I'm in long enough to sit here and act like $2,000-$3,000 ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? That was everything to me, and I needed that shit back, period. Like, I could not walk away from it. And the fights that we would get in and this and that we would get into was always about money. Always. Give me my fucking money then. Just give my, and it's just like, I told you I'm gonna, and then that would make him so irate. I'm gonna give you your money. And then it's been 6 months. And then now it's just like full on. And it's just, I couldn't even ask him after a while for my own resources back. So it was just like such a fucked up situation. And the straw that broke the camel's back was when he did come to my job one day at MAC and completely showed out. And that's when I just realized, you're about to put my whole career in jeopardy. And that's when I also, for the first time, had a third party come intervene. And I never really realized like how bad it was until like the mall security was just, sir, like you cannot, like what the fuck are you doing type of shit. And I was just like in the food court and he's like full on trying to fight with me, like physically pull me out of the damn food court. And I'm like, just stop, just leave me alone. And security was just like, no, this is not okay, ma'am. Like, go, like, where do you work? He like, come on, I'm gonna escort you. And as I'm being escorted down to my counter, I'm just like, me? This is not, like, my mom would be appalled. This is crazy. And so that day I went back to my makeup counter. I tried to act like nothing was wrong. And he had, in the conversation, he had taken my car keys at one point. And so now I'm like at work, dude, give me my keys. Like I'm just like, give me my fucking keys. Like you're about to get me in trouble. Stop. He's at the counter being loud. My manager comes and I'm just like, yo, if I get fired, I swear to God, this is everything. This is everything to me. Like I've worked way too hard for this. Don't fuck with my bread. Don't fuck with my career. And so finally he gives my keys back and he leaves. He's like, we're beefed out. He's like, I swear to God, he leaves. I closed that day and my manager was like, Kendra, Chelsea, you guys are closing. He saw what happened. Security made sure that my ex left. And my boss was just like, you girls are closing up today. Kendra, I want you to make sure y'all go to the car together, stuff like that. So we left. Everything was fine. I'm like trying to calm down from the situation. We get to the parking lot and it's dark as hell in the parking lot. Like it's closed. It's 11 p.m. at this point. And my friend and I walk in the parking lot. Her car's right here. My car's right here. So she looks at me. She's like, good girl, text me when you get home, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, babe. She gets in her car, turn on her lights. Like I just remember it was raining. So we get in the car. My lights are like beaming straight at her almost. And so she just waves like, you good? I'm like, yes, we're good. As I'm about to reverse, she's reversing. Another set of lights come on directly in front of me. And when I look up, it's him. And I'm like, he's in my other car, girl. Got this nigga whole car. So I'm like, okay, he waited for me in the parking lot. And so I'm like, bye, the fuck. So I'm out of here, right? Now we're on the highway. Now he's literally, it's raining. He's literally in the lane beside me. Pull over. And I'm pull over. You said you were going to your mom's house. Like at Macy's at work, you told me, you gave me my keys back. I told you to get my shit and get the fuck out. Go home, get your stuff and go to your mom's house. That's what you told me you were doing. Why are you in this parking lot? Like I knew he was on bullshit. I had just told my friend I was good. So now she's not even thinking of me. Like now it's me and you, and I'm on this highway and you're trying to ram me the fuck off the road. I'm like freaking out. He gets off on my exit, all kinds of shit, right? No, I start freaking out. He gets off on an exit. So I'm like, okay, done. I'm going to fly home, get to my house, lock up, whatever. Girl. So I get home, all of that. My friend Kendra, I text her, I told her what happened. She's like, are you good now? You're safe, you're good. I'm in my room. Finally, I run upstairs, girl. I'm like, safe, lock everything up. I'm in my bed. I text her, I say, girl, I'm good. Thank you for being there for me. Then I get novels from him. You're a bitch, I swear to God, you did a storybook. At this point, I'm more confident than I've ever been in that situation because in my mind, you came to my job. I'm already, you're fucking done. Like at this point, I'm like trying to come up with a getaway plan because now you violated something that I know if you really get to ruin my job, what the fuck will I do? Like I'll have no option. So this was the last straw for me. And I was so confident that I actually told him that. I told him that in the past, but this time I think he knew. And so I text him back and I'm like, guess what, bitch? Like now I'm like, you're not in my face. I can text you whatever the fuck I want. And I'm like, don't you fucking ever. I'm done. I swear to God, I'm done. You will never see my face again. Like never. You got your shit. Girl, before I can even hit send to the last message, my front door gets kicked the fuck open. He made another fucking key. The door flings open and he runs so fast from the front door into my bedroom. The door's open. I saw it. Like the minute the door opened, I see him run and he fucking lunged at my throat from the front and just got on top of me and was choking the fuck out of me. And the whole time I'm just like, I just told my friend I was good. Like I'm going to die. Like, today is it. Like, I'm done. It's raining. It's midnight now. Nobody, girl, my whole life was like flashing before my eyes. And I was just like, oh my God, like, how did it get here? How? After that point, for 4 days, he kept me locked in my room. And yeah, he kept me locked in my room. I couldn't go to work. He took my phone from me. And I had a computer in a drawer that I never used. He didn't even know about. So finally, on like day 3, I realized it. And I wrote a letter to my Macy's manager. And it was the hardest thing I ever had to do, because I realized like how real this all was becoming. Like, now I was involving other people. And that was like so hard. Like, my own mom didn't know anything. Like, she still doesn't know anything. So like, to have to write to my boss and just plead with him, all I wanted was to know that I could keep my job. I didn't even care about anything else. I was like, please just help me relocate with a job. Like, I need to get away from this situation, and I'll do anything. But if you tell me that I won't have a job, I'm not going to leave Atlanta. I'll stay here. I'll break up with him. But you saw what he did today. He'll come. He's not going to leave me alone. And I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I'm not going to quit ever. I need a job. And he was just like, he was a gay guy. His name was Tony Sanders. Like, literally, I feel like he was my guardian angel. But so he just wrote me back and was like, anything you need, please don't worry. Like, I'm going to help you. The thing is, I had only been at Mac for 6 months, and you can't, by their rules, you can't transfer for a whole year. And so he was like, you're new. And I was like, I know, but please, like, just help me. And he's like, where would you want to go? And I was like, I have no idea, anywhere, just not here. And he's, I need a place. I need you to tell me what counter. I need details. Like, I have to put in a whole transfer for you. So I'm like, LA, like, far as fuck away. I didn't know anyone in LA. And I was just like, I just want to get to a place where I knew he wouldn't be able to afford to go. And so he was like, Chelsea, this is going to look really crazy. Like, you're a makeup artist, LA. Every makeup artist wants to be in LA. You want me to call in a favor transfers for you to get a free enter into LA? And I'm like, I don't even know. Yeah, I do. And so he's, I'm going to work on this for you. There's no guarantees. You're still going to have to interview, but I'm going to at least tell them and put it in a message for you and blah, blah, blah. And he's, but you have to go. And so that was that, right? So right then and there, I told myself, I'm going to give myself 4 days. If he does this again in 4 days, I'm going to go to the police. Like, I'm going to do something that I don't want to do, and I'm going to do that. And so that ended up being what happened. When he finally let me out, he was feeling so guilty, so bad. The whole 4 days he had spent in the living room gambling more of my money, taking my credit card. The mail came, my new credit card arrived. He took that credit card, ran it up. I was waiting and waiting. I ordered 4 more credit cards. Every time he's having me think it was lost, he had it every time. So when I finally got out of the room and I go and I check my, like, not even knowing what had happened, I get a call about some balances, and I'm realizing, like, this is what has been happening while I was locked in my room. So I call SunTrust. I'm like, listen, where's my, like, what? And they're like, ma'am, did you give someone your PIN? And I'm like, yeah, we lived together. He had my PIN, but I didn't give him permission to go take my money out and gamble it while I'm locked in a room. Girl, I had nothing. He took everything, ran up everything. So here I am, someone who's normally very financially responsible, very conscious of every dime that goes in and out of my account. Now I'm now in negative. I now have balances, and then you owe me thousands of dollars. Girl, the normal Chelsea would have been like, oh, you're not going the fuck anywhere, boy. You're staying right in my, you know what I mean? Like, I need all that back, every fucking cent of it back I need. And this time I finally that's how I just knew I was completely broken. I'm glad I made the decision, but I also needed that money so bad. Like, not having that shit, like,
Your safety is way more important than that money. Way more important.
just think of some of the things that I convinced myself I had to do when I didn't have money. It's fucked up that, like, loving the wrong person can cause you to becomes so fucked up that it makes you feel forced to have to completely do things that are completely against what you would ever do, because now that person has destroyed your life and you have to pick up the pieces alone. So it got me into things that like I didn't ever want to do, but things that I had to be willing to do to support myself. And I had a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, a lot of everything. But I moved to LA and things worked out. I've never seen him again. Thank God. He ended up going to jail. I went to the police straight. I went to the police because he ended up violating again and within the 4 days. And so I was able to execute my plan when I went to the cops, and I had like bruises and cut all types of shit. And they came and like pretty much raided my house and dragged him all the way out of it. And so from that moment, I had a few days before I knew he would be released. And a friend of mine helped me pack up my belongings, and I literally left with one vehicle that I owned. I had 3 at the time, and I packed it up with all the shit that I could fit in it. And that's it. Made up some excuse to my mom and convinced her I needed help shipping my car to LA. I wanted to move with a friend, whatever. And my mom knew something was wrong, but she was like, I'll ship your car. I'll send you $2,000 out of your your CD. And that's all I've got for you, but I hope it helps. And girl, I made that money stretch for months. Like I live in a motel, saw the craziest shit ever. And I didn't know anybody in LA. Like I drove with strangers, I bummed rides, I took the trains, like the subway, like I did whatever. And I just felt so happy every second of it. I didn't even know I was in the hood. I didn't even know I was like in a sketchy area. I just knew that it was better than what I had been dealing with. And I was now safe, even if it wasn't, it was like, it felt safe. And when I got to LA, my drive was on 10. I knew I had to make up for lost time. I really had work to do. And I just remained focused on that, like super, super focused on that. And thank God I ended up getting the transfer to Mac, and I worked at Mac for a little bit. And that's where I met my first LA like celebrity client. And from there, I booked my first reality TV show, and everything just started to pick up. I was able to afford a bed. At that time, I was on an air mattress for like months and months. Once I finally was able to go from the motel to apartment, I had nothing in it forever. And then I had an air mattress, and I just rocked out with the air mattress. But life was picking up, and it was great. And I was grateful. I was so humbled by everything I had been through. And getting the gig as the makeup artist for a show, that just showed me like, that allowed me to get close to someone who had real money and real lifestyle. And I got to see, whoa, this is what's out here. Like the world is amazing, and you need money to be able to create this here in LA. And so I've just been on a mission ever since to recreate that type of vibe and lifestyle for myself in a legit way. And yeah.
Do you love seeing affirmations or inspiring messages that motivate you to be the best version of yourself? I know I love to see them and wear them too. BecauseHealingWorks.com was created to help you feel empowered every day with chic apparel, accessories, and soon all the healing tools that I love. Seeing positive affirmations and messages will shape your mind, alleviate stress, and improve your general well-being. Go to BecauseHealingWorks.com and purchase our latest apparel, accessories, and soon all the healing tools you need. Shop at BecauseHealingWorks.com right now, and the first 50 listeners will get 10% off when you use the code HEAL. Go to BecauseHealingWorks.com and use the word HEAL at checkout to get 10% off. And I just thank you so much for sharing that, all the bits and pieces of it. I know for a fact that you are resonating with at least one person in the audience that's going to hear this, and they're going to understand that. I feel as though like your story is going to be someone else's survival guide. Like people are going to understand that that's something that you should not be putting up with. And if you got to leave everything behind, then do it, because your safety is way more important. So thank you so much for sharing that vulnerable story. I'm so thankful myself that you were saved from it. And I've gone through this very similar things, and I understand being trapped And I understand giving up everything to start all over again. But like you said, even though you was in the hood, you were safe and you were able to overcome it. So let's talk about your time in LA. So I know that you accomplished your goals, were working on celebrities, and you were loving the lavish lifestyle. But I know personally, just from coming as a makeup artist, you're working behind the scenes. You're the one standing up for hours doing their makeup, and you're not really a part of the whole lavish thing. So I know that around the time that you were getting over makeup is when you and Brandon started connecting and everything like that, right?
Yeah, so I did makeup for a long time and it was great. Like I really loved it. And then as I worked my way up, my clientele started to change. And I, at one point, had nothing but celebrity clients, which was a dream come true. And after years of it being that way, I just dealt with a whole bunch of different types of people. And for the most part, it would be people that were very humble and appreciative and whatever. But then every now and then you would get the asshole. And I just started to realize I used to be really passionate about the artistry of all this, but I don't really want to have to deal with people like this anymore. And I don't really want to have to deal with the whole like catering to someone, or it just got old. And so at this time I'm looking for another option. I'm looking for new things. And in my head, I wasn't physically looking, but in my mind, I was just like, what's next for me? Am I really going to be a 50-year-old makeup artist? Like, what am I doing with this? I want kids someday. I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. I was like still just healing and just chilling. And I was like, I don't want to be a makeup artist forever, but what else is there for someone like me? I don't want my degree either. I want to do something exciting, fun, like with my life. And at the same time, Brandon, the one that, you know, was my best friend in Atlanta, one of my best friends in Atlanta, the reason I had never told him about like the slap or anything is because I knew Brandon knew who he was. I knew Brandon was my friend and he would just be like, what the, like, what? And it would just be drama. So all those years, like I never told Brandon anything or anybody really, just a couple of girlfriends. And Brandon ended up getting locked up while I was still in Atlanta. Like I hadn't even moved yet. He had gotten locked up for something he had did years previously. It wasn't a violent crime or anything like that. Just some young, dumb, get money shit. And he was in prison. We wrote each other and just kept each other very solid. He knew I was moving to LA and I finally told him why, and he just couldn't believe it. He was just like, he could not believe it. And so it just allowed us to really connect even more and just be positive and uplifting for one another when we really needed that friendship. And so when I found out he was coming home and going to be relocating to LA because that's where his daughter was living, it was just like, oh my gosh, like comfort. I love you. You're my bestie. Like you're going to be here. It was awesome. And so from the first day that he came home, I surprised them and we've been together ever since. And of course, with just everything I've been through, everybody was just like, he's a felon. What the fuck? What's wrong with you, Chelsea? And I'm just like, listen, it's not the same type of felon as this. It's not type of situation this time. This is someone who just made made some mistakes, whatever, but I was confident in who I was dealing with. And so despite how difficult it was with our family supporting us and stuff, we decided, thank you, baby. We decided to push through anyway. And so it'll be 6 years that we're together this month. No, February 3rd, I think, is the day he came home. And it's been almost 6 years. He's about to be off of probation. He's been on a 5-year probation. And yeah, it ends February 3rd, girl. Like, we've committed to doing this time together and it's been so challenging, so hard, but through it all, like we've really held each other down. We've empowered one another to do things that we probably would have never done on our own because of just by ourselves. I told him, like, listen, I'm going to hold you down during this period. I gave you 2 babies. I love you. I want to do life with you, but don't make me do this in vain. Being secure is a very big thing for me. And you being a felon, like, you've taken a little bit of that away because of now our new life. But I'm going to commit to doing these 5 years with you. And I just want to come out on top. I just want us to come out solid. Don't make this a period of like where we're struggling and then we graduate and or you're done and then we're struggling. No, 5 years is a long time. And so I told him, I'm like, I want to be millionaires by the time we're done with this shit. There's no reason, 5 whole years, 2 people, we can figure some shit out. And so we committed to just learning and trying to be legit by any means necessary. And we jumped into e-commerce. The e-commerce space was one of our first entrepreneur ventures. And within our first 6 months, we made over $100,000 legitimately. And from there, it was just like life took off for us, and made our first $1 million in 2020 during COVID. Brandon started his own company. Once he like got into e-commerce with me, he got bored with it and was just like, okay, I'm gonna stick to what I know more, which is gambling, betting. But he turned it into a business where he now helps other people. So he now has his own 7-figure company, which is just insane. And we did everything we came to do. And I'm just so grateful for all the grace God has given both of us to even allow any of this to come into fruition. Because at one point I really was lost in the sauce completely, had no idea what was going to come of my life. And I'm just so glad that I stayed down to the things that I truly believed in, from graduating and moving across the country, you know what I'm saying? Or actually not across the country. I did that later, but just having to not be emotionally tied to your decisions has gotten me very far things. And yeah, that's pretty much the story.
I love the fact that you guys both built businesses, 7-figure businesses together, and you found somebody that I know is an amazing person, amazing father. You could just tell that he's an amazing father just with the little clips that I see here and there. And I'm just really grateful that you found somebody like him and that you guys were able to build together. The most important, you get in your luxury lifestyle now. Let's tell people about what's going on with dropshipping. Like, how can people, what are you doing now that you're this dropshipping expert over here? Please share with everyone.
Dropshipping, I'm so passionate about it. And I honestly I feel like my loyalty to dropshipping and the reason why I chose to teach it is because it really is the thing that helped me like truly gain that confidence of, if ever shit hit the fan, if ever I needed to walk away from anything, if ever I needed to have my own, I know that I could do it with dropshipping. And I didn't know it at the time, but I didn't know how big of a opportunity it would be in my life to just try this one new thing, and then it would just explode into something so life-changing for me. But I know that because it had that impact on my life, it does definitely have it on someone else who truly is ready for it. Obviously, I could give this information and whatever to someone else who has maybe a whole ton of money and they'd be like, but to someone who doesn't have much and someone who needs that like life raft thrown to them, this could be your answer. And because I know that I needed that when I needed it, and I didn't have it, and it forced me to go and explore things that didn't make me feel good as a woman, and it didn't make me proud. This is something that it's almost like a gift that I want to just try to get other people to just get exposed to it. I don't have to be the one that you work with, or that you have mentor you or anything like that, but at least just let me talk to you about what it did for my life and explain what it is. And if it interests you and piques you in any type of way, maybe you can jump in and start learning too. But now I do mentor thousands of women, and I'm so passionate about it because some of them are really successful and are good already, but some of them felt lost too. Some of them felt dancing or doing this or doing that was the only way that they could make thousands of dollars in a week or something. And so now showing them that, no, babe, you can do this from home. You don't need a man. You don't need a car. You can just literally get your laptop. You do need, obviously it's a business, so you need some resources. You need a computer, you need the internet, you do need some money to invest into your business. But in the grand scheme of things, it's such a minimal investment that I'm just so grateful for. Because had it been something that required a lot, it wouldn't have not been for me. You know what I'm saying? I was somebody starting with very minimal resources. So yes, Pennies to Gold is my passion project baby that is now a 7-figure company. That was never meant to be any of these things. It was truly just meant to be like, hey, I found something that changed my life. And if I could promote this from the mountaintops, so every woman in the world can at least know that she has an option to start making money without a huge investment, I want them to know about it. Because if I could help one woman who's trapped in her fucking bedroom, who feels like she doesn't have access to thousands that are required to change her life, at least when she hears this, she might know, wait, I could get access to 500 or 1,000 maybe, and I can do this and it might could take off. That might be enough to change someone's whole life. For me, I didn't have anyone like, hey girl, you can do this. If you get to LA, like you could start doing this. I didn't have, it was all question marks. And that's what kept me stuck for so long. Just thinking about all the money I was going to leave behind, plus have to play catch up. It was horrible, but everything worked out. And as long as you have the will and the focus and the desire, for me, that feeling of my back being up against the wall, I've felt that feeling one too many times in my life. But the times when I've really felt it the strongest is the times that I was forced to take action, like massive action. And so it was when I finally left. And it was when Brandon came home and wasn't able to secure a real job. Those are times where I felt like my back was up against the wall and I like would freak out. And so like now I still have my triggers, because it's just like when I feel like something like that, I just automatically go back to the things that I had to. I'm never going to just be out on the street. So it's just like such a scary thing for me. But yeah, sometimes your back being up against the wall can truly help you conquer anything. You'd be surprised. You don't have to like sink into a depressive state. You don't have to sulk in your circumstance. Like you can use that feeling of your back against the wall and you can use it to ignite something truly beautiful. And it's easier said than done. But if you can muster the strength to keep going and just stay focused on where you want to be, like you can conquer some really amazing things. And so that's what I try to lead with now. No matter how hard it gets, just truly keep your eye on the prize and focus on your why. And my why is that I just never want to be broke again. I never want to give somebody that power over me financially, where I know they can take my last from me and keep me dependent on them. That is the worst.
I know a lot of women are going through that right now. And this is the time, guys, women, ladies, that we are able to shine. Like we're literally our ancestors' wildest dreams right now. We didn't have the internet over maybe 20 years ago. We didn't have the ability to heal 20 years ago. We were forced to just be a housewife or a domestic worker. But now it's really our time, because we are some amazing, powerful creatures. Us ladies over here, it's our time to really shine. And because of Chelsea, I actually just started my first dropshipping business. It's a print on demand business. It's called BecauseHealingWorks.com. So every single positive affirmation quote that I love is gonna be on t-shirts, mugs, and hoodies. So I want to thank you, Chelsea, for giving me the education in order to do that. Because, you know, I'm all about passive income. Create something one time and continue to get paid off of it. That's what drop shipping can do for anybody. So please let people know where they can find you, what you have going on in your business now.
Yes, you guys, because I know that Coach Stacy is launching this podcast this week. I am just like so proud of you. I think that's so freaking amazing. And I don't know when they'll hear this episode, and I know everybody will have a different story to tell, but for anyone who is looking for or who feels that starting a business or having more financial resources might be something that can liberate them or improve their lifestyle, I wanted to open up some more spots before I close the doors on this month's enrollment, just in case anybody wants to tap in and learn some more about the industry that we are now both tapping into, drop shipping. I'm really excited for you. That's such a good idea. And you're going to go so far with that. That's awesome. But yes, you guys, you can find me on Instagram. Learn with Chelsea is my Instagram handle, Learn with Chelsea. And then my website is my first and last name put together. So www.chelseaguarriello.com. And my goal is just to teach women how to make some money using social media. We spend a lot of time on this app. And so I have a few different resources available to just help people, whether you have your own product and your own real amazing idea or not. I can still help you learn how to sell and make money online in some way, shape, or form. So definitely tap in with me. If you have any questions, just DM me. Let me know that you came from Coach Stacy's podcast, and I will hook you up with one of these spots if you're interested. But yes, I'm so passionate about spreading awareness about e-commerce and drop shipping. I never would be in the position that I'm at today if I would have not taken that leap of faith to try and learn something new. I thought I knew it all. I was a makeup artist. I thought, what else do I need to learn? then you hit a wall with it and you're like, oh my God, so I have to go back to school. And it's no, you don't have to go back to school. You just have to be open. You have to be open-minded. And so I'm just so grateful for that. And I'll never stop trying to expose this to other women who I know it could possibly help. So
absolutely. And just to let you guys know that I'm using dropshipping for my actual brand, but Chelsea does teach you how to sell things without you even purchasing the inventory. And they basically call it a winning product. So she teaches you how to find that winning product. So you don't have to worry about actually creating the product yourself. You could just go to a manufacturer and they'll be able to send it out. So I wanted to give that little tidbit to everybody. You don't have to have your own brand. Chelsea started without even putting her face in front of her drop shipping business. But now, because she's such a heart-centered leader, she's teaching everybody how to, you can become financially free with this drop shipping business. So I encourage it for everybody. I jumped on it for my birthday, even though I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I know I'm going to jump on it right now. And I'm excited to launch it. Actually, it's launching when this podcast comes out. So it's just total full circle. Chelsea, I'm so thankful for you. I'm grateful that you were able to get out of that relationship. I'm grateful that you kept 10 toes down, as they say it, and was still determined to make it. And then now you're encouraging other people to break free and create abundance, because abundance is your birthright, everybody. Just to let you know, abundance is your birthright. You deserve to have everything, the health, the wealth, the joy, the peace, the happiness. You deserve to have it all. It's your birthright. So if you guys need a resource to help make extra money online, definitely tap into Chelsea. Thank you, Chelsea, for opening up spots for my people, hooking up my people. I'm so appreciative of you. And do you want to close it out with anything? Any last messages for the audience?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your time. Anyone who's listening to this, if you've been through anything close to what I've been through, or if this story resonated with you in any way, you're not alone. You didn't deserve the things that happened to you. And healing is so important, whether it's talking to someone, whether it's a therapist, a friend, but just getting all of this off of your chest. I think that leading with my story over the past 3 years, obviously I still cry every single time I tell it, but I feel like this is therapeutic for me, just being able to connect with people and tell my story almost at least every week for the past 3 years has been such a reminder. No, Chelsea, you can't hide from this. Like, you really went through this and it's okay. Every time you talk about it, you heal a little bit more, and it'll probably never go away. I know it will never go away, and it'll probably never go away for you guys either. We are not our past. We're survivors. We're warriors, and better things are to come. You just have to change your mindset and push forward, not stay stuck in the past, which so many people do. So many of us live in our past traumas, from childhood to boyfriends to whatever. And you cannot, every day you have to put one foot in front of the next and just keep going.
Thank you so much for listening to the Healing Connection podcast with Coach Stacy Christine. I am so thankful for you guys' downloads. Please make sure that you go and subscribe to wherever you're listening to this at. Make sure that you hit the little bell so that you can get notifications whenever the next episode airs. I'm sending you all healing energy with much love.